3 of the American League Division Series, the AL champion Cleveland Indians and the host New York Yankees. October baseball back in the Bronx with Hall of Famer John Smoltz, Matt Vasgersian, Tom Verducci, and Ken Rosenthal with us as well. And John, tonight the Yankees begin the comeback trail, trying to win 3 in a row against a team that's lost a total of 4 games in the last 6 weeks. The good news for the Yankees is they're back home, where they have the best winning percentage in the American League.
Well, the good news is they've won 3 in a row in the regular season, and there is no place like home. Their offense clicks much better here. They hit the ball out of the ballpark better than anybody, and they score more runs. They have to get it going because they don't have room for error, and Didi, maybe get Didi going. Not a lot of hits, but they've hit homers in this series. So for Tanaka, I think the good news is he's at home. The bad news is he doesn't have much room for error. It's been an up and down kind of year, but his last start was dominant, and he's trying to kind of go off of that one.
Yeah, Masahiro Tanaka has great numbers here, as you just saw. The problem for him is that so does Carlos Carrasco as a visitor. A 1.40 career ERA here in 4 starts. He likes it here as well.
He does. He's pitched great on the road, and he's pitched great all year. When he starts a game, they just about win. 24 wins in the team when he starts, and like you said, he likes it here, he likes it on the road. The Cleveland Indians are confident. They don't want to play any more games than they have to. They would like to end it right here in New York.
Crucial game 3 in front of us. Our friends at T-Mobile are contributing $10,000 for every home run that's hit, up to $1 million, and for every tweet to hashtag HR4HR during the postseason to support Team Rubicon towards hurricane recovery. Much more in our coverage from Yankee Stadium as we come back in advance of Game 3 next. Welcome back to the ALDS presented by Doosan on FS1 on a very warm October night for baseball. 76 degrees, cloudy, threat of rain coming tomorrow. No threat of that tonight. Yet a warm one here in the Bronx. Well, the Indians lineup without the services of one of their big run producers for Game 3 and possibly beyond. Ken Rosenthal with the latest. Kenny.
That Terry Francona told us flat out that Edwin Encarnacion is not available tonight. Encarnacion, though, is making surprising progress in his recovery from a sprained right ankle, and the Indians do not rule him out for tomorrow if that game is necessary. In his place tonight, All-Star Michael Brandt. He has only 8 at-bats since August 8th due to his own sprained ankle, but he gives the Indians another left-handed threat here at Yankee Stadium. Now over to Tom Verducci.
Thanks, Ken. Well, the Indians are not testing the power of Aaron Judge. They're testing his patience. 62% of the pitches they've thrown him have been out of the zone. 50% have been breaking balls. Fastballs in the zone? Well, those have been rare. In 10 plate appearances, Judge has seen only 9 fastballs in the zone, most of those at the top and outer edge of the zone, and he's just missed them. Now, they know that Judge hammers fastballs in the zone, slugging .907 against them. But tonight, they're making sure their game plan is the same. Handle with care. And it's worked to perfection. The American League home run champion has yet to hit the ball out of the infield. Matt?
Yeah, Tom, some would call him due, and of course batting second in right field for Joe Girardi's Yankees tonight. Before we get to that piece of business, let's get to the Indians starting lineup. Here's how they look against Masahiro Tanaka. Francisco Lindor with the big grand slam in Game 2. Leading off at shortstop, as per usual, Kipnis, Ramirez, and Bruce 2 through 4. Carlos Santana moved up to the 5 spot, the switch hitting first baseman, batting 5th today. Austin Jackson, Michael Brantley in Encarnacion's spot, as Kenny reported. Roberto Perez and Giovanni Urshela round things out for Terry Francona's Cleveland Indians. It is the 28-year-old split-finger fastball specialist Masahiro Tanaka on the mound for the Yankees. His most recent start, his regular season finale, was a dandy. 7 shutout innings, 15 strikeouts, and that total included striking out 10 of the first 14 hitters he faced that day.
Yeah, it's been an up and down kind of season, but he's been really good at home. I think the humidity was going to help his split finger. For him to have success, he's got to pound strikes with his fastball. It's got to be down. Anything up, the Indians will expose. But if they can keep the fastball down, then the split in the dirt and low, he'll have success.
Francisco Lindor digs in to lead things off for the Indians. It is a boisterous Yankee Stadium crowd on this Sunday night. grand slam that began the comeback process in Game 2. A pair of two-time All-Stars started out for the Indians, and Game 3 in the Bronx is underway. Francisco Lindor is one of a handful of Indians hitters that has had good nights against Masahiro Tanaka. A ball and a strike.
That's the height and that's the velocity he wants on his fastball. Down, and it has extra carry. And then what he can do is he can throw that split finger fastball off that same plateau that the hitter's looking at down. See where Sanchez set up.
A ball and 2 strikes to Francisco Lindor, who is 4 for 9 all time against Masahiro Tanaka. Jason Kipnis next. It's been a couple of years since Tanaka has faced the Indians. Most recently last August. Pitched very well in a 3-2 Yankee win right here.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. See, the last fastball set this up. It looks like a fastball on the outside. See the late movement away. When he throws his split, he does not want to get a called strike with it. He wants to make it look like a strike as long as possible, and then the hitters swing at it feebly. So that's going to be a key. That's when he's on his game. And the Indians are going to make sure, or hope to make sure, that they don't have a lot of deep counts tonight.
Jason Kipnis 2 for 10 so far in the series. Offers at the first pitch and lifts a pop for the third baseman Todd Frazier. While we're on the topic, let's check the rest of the Yankee defensive alignment behind Tanaka tonight. It is Frazier, Gregorius, Castro, and Bird in the infield. A Gold Glover last year, Brett Gardner in left, Hicks and Judge in center and right. And as per usual, Gary Sanchez doing the catching tonight.
Well, I mentioned Didi needs to get going for the Yankees, and so does Mr. Ramirez for the Indians. Always magnified in a short series, whether you start out hot or cold.
One of the Indians' leading run producers during the regular season. Just a 1 for 9 start to the division series against the Yankees. And it's a ball and a strike to Jose Ramirez.
Well, what we're going to see is a continued theme tonight. You're not going to see a lot of fastballs by either pitchers. It is under 50% fastball usage, and we're talking about the Indian starter has one at around 96, 97 miles an hour as well.
The velocity of Tanaka is an important underscore for Joe Girardi, who told us before the game that Tanaka is usually at his best when he's between 92 and 94 miles an hour. And that number bore out nicely in his last start. He averaged 92.5 miles an hour on his fastball and struck out 15 Blue Jays. 2-2 to Ramirez.
You see that small little breaking ball? That's a good compliment to the split that goes away from left-handers. This one starts away and then comes back. So he can spin it with a slower curveball, a tighter slider, and then a split. So he's got the ball going opposite directions for each hitter.
Full count, 3-2.
Great pitch, and if he keeps putting pressure on the hitters for the Indians, that'll eventually be a strike.
But a great pitch and a better take. Full count to Ramirez now. Got him. So the Yankees' comeback attempt from being down 2 games to none starts with an impressive top of the first by Masahiro Tanaka. Time to check the Yankees lineup for Game 3 tonight. Gardner, Judge, and Sanchez off the top. Gregorius and Castro batting 4 and 5. No changes there. Greg Bird at first base batting number 6. Todd Frazier moved into the 7th spot playing third base again tonight. Jacoby Ellsbury will DH. And Aaron Hicks, who's had a nice couple of games to start this series, bats number 9. It is the 30-year-old right-hander Carlos Carrasco on the mound for Cleveland in Game 3 tonight. One of the 3 18-game winners in Major League Baseball this year, coming off a season in which he struck out a career-high 226 batters.
He's got all the makeup. He can spin it, slider, changeup, curveball, two-seamer, pitches exclusively out of the stretch. The only time he gets in trouble is when he gets underneath with his delivery, gets the hand underneath the ball and it flattens out. September 5-0 with a 1.48 ERA, so he is coming in on a roll.
Gardner, Judge, and Sanchez lead things off for New York. Gardner and Judge both looking for their first hits of the series. A combined 0 for 15 in 2 nights against Cleveland pitching. Flare for shortstop Francisco Lindor, who runs it down. The Indians very good defensively. Jackson, Kipnis, and Bruce in the outfield. The Kipnis in center field experiment's been working out just fine for Cleveland. Giovanni Urshela and Francisco Lindor on the left side of the infield. Ramirez and Santana on the right. And behind the plate, receiving Carlos Carrasco is Roberto Perez. One gone for Aaron Judge. Judge 0 for 7 in the series, 3 walks. As Tom Verducci documented when we went on the air, the approach has been breaking ball heavy in trying to neutralize the American League's home run leader.
The Indians have pitched him tough. It's not like he's really expanded the zone.
And quickly behind 0-2.
And those 2 fastballs right there set the plan for the rest of the game. Most of the at-bats have not seen 2 consecutive fastballs. So Judge, early on, seeing the two-seamer in on his hands.
Nothing in 2, the count to Aaron Judge. Gary Sanchez on deck. Got him.
Perfect execution. You go in twice, you get 2 foul balls, and then you stay low with that slider. Tight spin. He's got real tight spin and a tough angle to pick it up for a big hitter, yet alone a slugger like Judge. Look, when you pitch in these games and you're on the road, you want to keep this raucous crowd to a dull roar. When you're Tanaka, you want them cheering, you want them loud. That's when you know you're doing your respective jobs.
Here's Gary Sanchez now, 2 for 10 with a homer in 2 games to start the series.
Oh.
33 home runs for Sanchez during the course of the regular season. 90 RBIs, numbers amassed despite missing the first month of the season with a biceps injury. We saw it on the strikeout to Aaron Judge, and John, you talked about this. Carlos Carrasco makes his hay at inducing swinging strikes with his off-speed stuff. These numbers powered by StatCast, presented by AWS. Two and one.
Well, when he gets 2 strikes, I mean, the 2-strike average Major League wise is going to be low anyways, but 133 for Carrasco. The goal for the Yankees is to try and get counts where he doesn't have a strike, like the 2-0 pitch that he was taken all the way, Sanchez, but hittable counts.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
The great plan of a starting pitcher is no different than like a head coach in football, where he pre-scripts plays hoping that they're going to win the battle at the line of scrimmage, right? You're hoping you can win in your game plan and then have the hitters adjust off of that. And so far, he's attacked in with the fastball early and that pitch late.
Puts him away with the slider. Back-to-back sliders for strikeouts as Carrasco mitigates the top of the Yankees lineup in his half of the first. On to the second. No score in the Bronx. Each starter with a pair of strikeouts along the course of a scoreless start to the ball game. Back with John Smoltz, Tom Verducci, and Ken Rosenthal. Matt Vasgersian in the Bronx. And it's the middle of the Indians order in the second. Jay Bruce, Carlos Santana, and Austin Jackson for Cleveland. The offensive hero of game one. Jay Bruce played a role in game two as well with the game tying home run late. Finds himself in an 0-2 hole here. And as has been the case throughout the series, some infielders will switch positions here, with Todd Frazier going to the second base side of the bag. And Tanaka going back to work on Bruce. 0-2.
So already the rest looks like Tanaka has benefited from, because the depth of his split is so good. He could change speeds on it. He could throw it slower. It could have more movement. It could have more lateral movement. You don't want lateral. You want depth, meaning going down, disappearing. And so far, early on, the Indians are not recognizing the difference between the two.
Sanchez sets up outside. And it's a swing and a miss. That's 3 strikeouts for Tanaka.
As a hitter, you tell yourself, be disciplined, get the ball up, get the ball up. Well, it looks up there, and then it ends up down out back by the glove. So you got that 0.1 seconds to make a decision and recognizing whether you got to pull the trigger or not. And when a pitcher has late life like Tanaka has early, and he's throwing strikes, that's a difficult proposition.
Here's the switch hitting first baseman Carlos Santana, 2 for 8 with a couple of runs batted in to start the series. Breaking ball starts him with a strike. Tanaka working on extended rest. We talked about his last start coming on Saturday, the 29th of September. For the first 3 years of his career, he was very good with 6 or more days rest. That was not the case as much in 2017. Part of what John mentioned earlier as being a really inconsistent, kind of hard to handicap year for Tanaka. Nights when he looked dominant. Tonight is shaping up to be one of those, quite possibly. There have been nights this year where Masahiro Tanaka can't keep the ball in the ballpark. 35 home runs. Two balls and 2 strikes to count to Santana.
Good take there by Santana. He went with the slider down and in. More than likely now he'll expand the zone away with a split away and see if he can get him looking out over the plate. Some good low ball hitters on the Indians.
From 0-2 to 2 balls and 2 strikes on Carlos Santana, who wants to think about it. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. That's bounced up the first base line and fouled. We talked about the ups and downs of Masahiro Tanaka this year, John.
Yeah, it's been very strange. You see that start of the season, and then you see that middle part. Wow, the middle part got away from him. And then you see since the first 9 games, he didn't have more than 6 Ks, and he had a lot of high run games. Then he had a 13 strikeout, followed by, again, some more runs. So what are you getting? And then he ended the season with 15 strikeouts. It's one of those years where when you add it all up, the numbers are decent, but he had his real bad stretches. They're bad, and his good are beyond belief. 15 strikeouts, no walk, 14 strikeouts with no walks. That's hard to do in a year where he's compiled giving up that many earned runs.
There has been a handling of Masahiro Tanaka that has been different than that of any other starter on the staff. Joe Girardi's done his best to give him breaks, use him at home when possible, such as starting him in Game 3 of this series tonight. Santana with a base hit into right field. Snuck it right between the shifted right side. And that's the first base runner of the ballgame.
That'll be one of those rare 3-2 fastballs that any of these hitters get to see, and Santana did not come off it and didn't miss it. You mentioned that shift. Bird didn't have much time to react at all. Short porch and right.
So now the man that scored the game-winning run in Game 2 in extra innings, Austin Jackson, 2 for 7 so far in the series. And the first pitch home to the 30-year-old veteran, breaking ball in for a strike. Jackson, a very good breaking ball hitter. Hits .347 against the off-speed breaking ball. And end of the season very hot. It wasn't just the very end of the season either. Oh, and 1 to the 8-year vet. Among players with at least 250 plate appearances from June 1st on, only Houston's Jose Altuve and Josh Reddick hit for a higher average in the American League. How about what Jose Altuve is in the midst of in the series against the Red Sox? What is he, 8 for 11?
8 for 11.
Boston staying alive with a win over Houston at Fenway Park today. Sanchez setting up on the outside corner. The 0-2 misses way out there, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. We mentioned the handling of Masahiro Tanaka. Part of it came from a diagnosis at the end of his first season stateside that revealed a tear in the right elbow. One that's been talked about ever since. Swing, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jackson. There were many that thought surgery would be necessary after that tear was discovered. As you take a look at Jackson hold up again, Tanaka's been able to pitch through it. And has defied a lot of the conventional wisdom in doing so.
Yeah, there's different varieties of what pitchers pitch with. No pitcher's ligament is ever going to look good or be completely 100%. So through rehab, through rest, through different type of treatments, you can nurse that along and actually heal it along and take pressure off of it. And that's what he's been able to do.
Jackson bounces to third. Frazier to Castro. Back to Bird. The double play. 1-out single erased. 2 scoreless innings from Masahiro Tanaka. Early in the Bronx, no score. Carlos Carrasco struck out a pair and route to a 1-2-3 start to the ball game. Here in the second, you'll get Didi Gregorius, Starlin Castro, and Greg Bird for the Yankees. No score early on in Game 3. Sir Didi 1 for 9 to start the division series. He had the dramatic game-tying home run at the bottom of the first inning, the wild card game on Tuesday night, that helped put the Yankees here in front here 2-0.
They've done a nice job pitching Didi, especially sometimes inside. They've seen a couple foul off of his leg and foot, and pretty much have kept him on the defensive.
Gregorius into center field for Jason Kipnis. And that's 4 up, 4 down for Carlos Carrasco, who, as we mentioned, had a banner 2017 season. 18 wins this year, one of 3 starters to get that number. His last 7 were particularly impressive. 59 strikeouts and only 6 walks, and he has been at his best on the road. 11-2, having last lost all the way back in July at Oakland.
Now, they didn't have him last year, and certainly the staff this year has put up gaudy numbers as they not only won a bunch of games in a row, but easily ran away with the division. And that's why they're the most feared team in the playoffs, because of the depth of their rotation, because of guys like him and Kluber and Bauer.
Starlin Castro has had a nice start to the series, 4 for 10 in 2 losses. Bats here with 1 out, nobody on, last of the second.
Not to mention they set an all-time record in strikeouts. So in the year of the strikeouts and homers, the Indians have had the counterbalance to teams that basically go up there and either walk, strike out, or hit a homer.
Ball and a strike to Starlin Castro. Greg Bird waiting on deck. Bird has homered in the series. Just about all the Yankee runs have come via the long ball in the first 2 games. In fact, in the whole postseason, 13 of the 15 runs they've scored have come via the home run. 2-2 on a good breaking ball.
Such a great pitch. When you get to the postseason, every pitch, everything, every detail is magnified. And this is a 2-1 pitch. We already mentioned that they don't throw a lot of fastballs as a team. He doesn't throw a lot of fastballs in general. So you better be able to hit mistakes and pitch behind in the count.
Got him. And that's 3 strikeouts for Carrasco. Not pitching like a guy, Ken Rosenthal, who just a few short years ago was removed from the starting rotation.
That's right, Matt. 2014, Indians took him out of their rotation after 4 starts. And Terry Francona says the demotion was the best thing for Carrasco ever. Rays manager Kevin Cash was the Indians bullpen coach at the time. And he told me that Carrasco had a habit of kind of cruising along in the low 90s earlier in games, figuring he can get to 94, 95 in the later innings. Problem is, he didn't always get there. So Cash and pitching coach Mickey Callaway said, listen, Carlos, you've got to be aggressive early in games. You've got to attack as a reliever. 1 inning, 3 innings, or 5, just keep going. And that's how he's made his transformation into an effective starting pitcher.
The Yankees have their first base runner in the game the hard way, if you ask Greg Bird, as he's hit by a pitch.
Right on top of the shoe.
As hit by pitches go, that's what Greg will take. So a man aboard for Todd Frazier, and more on Carlos Carrasco as Frazier digs in with a 3 for 8 start to the American League Division Series. Two out with the runner aboard. Kenny talked about 2014 being the year that Carlos Carrasco was removed from the rotation, then reinserted with a more aggressive mindset. Part of that was the mechanical change of working him out of the stretch even when the bases are empty. A lot of times you hear about pitchers going to the stretch just to clean up the mechanics, but for Carrasco, the intent there was to keep him aggressive, more of a mindset thing than a mechanical change.
Yeah, that's interesting for me because I'm not of the mindset that if you're a starting pitcher, you should be confined to the stretch, but it's working for him and some others. To your point, sometimes and most times it's a mechanical issue to condense the moving parts.
Hard to argue with the results. Since 2014, one of the lowest ERAs in the American League.
And the reason I say that, Matt, is only from a deception standpoint. You have to wind up for a reason, and you want to be able to athletically be able to repeat that so you have better leverage working against the hitter than seeing the hitter seeing you on the stretch all the time.
Frazier takes a strike.
The other thing Carrasco has done, as you can imagine, winning 18 games, 110 innings on the year he's been pitching with the league. That is a lot. Only 29 innings was he behind. They say pitching is a lot easier when you're ahead. It is. Everything changes. Confidence, hitter's approach. I'd say that's a pretty good year. About only 29 innings you're going to be trailing.
Going to run into a few wins.
Yeah.
It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Todd Frazier, who, by the way, has better career numbers against Carrasco than anybody else in the Yankee lineup. Not on this occasion, however, as Carrasco strikes him out. 4 strikeouts for each starter. And on a warm night in New York City, we're scoreless headed to the 3rd. Welcome back to the ALDS presented by Doosan at FS1. Scoreless as we start the top half of the 3rd. And Michael Brantley leads things off for Cleveland. Brantley, Perez, and Urshela. Bottom 3rd of the order against Masahiro Tanaka, who has been stingy to start the night. He's allowed just the base hit, and Carlos Santana was erased on a double play ball and at-bat later.
That's the approach. It seems easier sitting at home going, if you're wondering why can't guys just go up there and not swing at the ball and make them throw strikes? Well, the movement does a lot, but you do have to make Tanaka throw strikes for you to be successful. And just as I said that, he throws a breaking ball and Brantley expanded the zone. So 3 straight out of the zone, 2-1 count.
Michael looking for his first base hit in the ALDS, 0 for 5 so far. And he'll be occupying that DH role until further notice, and it all has to do with the health of Edwin Encarnacion, who, as Ken Rosenthal reported, not available tonight, but the Indians are hopeful that he could make a return sometime even as soon as the end of this series. The Indians have had tremendous productivity from their DH spot, almost exclusively thanks to Encarnacion. Brantley rolls over and grounds it to the right side, 1 away. We'll take it back to the early stages of Game 2 in Cleveland, and in attempting to not be doubled up, Encarnacion rolled the right ankle. It looked much worse at the time, and I think the Indians are very encouraged that it's a day-to-day diagnosis.
Yeah, it didn't look good. The only good sign you could say is he got off the ankle as fast as possible once he did it.
Here's the catcher, Roberto Perez. You know, this game is starting out as something of a postseason outlier in going scoreless for the first 2 innings. This is just the second postseason game all year that is off to a 2-inning scoreless start. Game 1 of the Cubs-Nats series was scoreless after 5, but this postseason has been distinguished by a lot of runs and a lot of home runs specifically. the count to Perez. Entering today, there have been 22 home runs hit in the postseason. 11 of those coming in first innings. That split finger fastball appears to be a good one tonight. Tom Verducci.
Well, I spoke with Francisco Lindor, the Indian shortstop, about the challenge of facing Tanaka. It's not that they have not seen him this year. It's that splitter that he has is such a rare pitch in the game. The entire Indians team saw fewer than 400 splitters the whole year. Hitters just aren't familiar with the pitch nor trained to hit the pitch. Now there is a pattern established in this game already. And with Carrasco's two-strike slider and Tanaka's two-strike splitter, you've seen hitters being aggressive early in counts to stay out of two-strike situations.
Yeah, neither starter has tried to reinvent himself in this division series matchup. That's where they've had their success in the past. Off the end of the bat for Castro, a very quick 1-2-3 third. 3 clean innings by Masahiro Tanaka to start the night. Bottom half of the third, Jacoby Ellsbury, Aaron Hicks, and then top of the order, Brett Gardner. Outside. Both starters off to a strong start this evening. Ellsbury 0 for 7 in the postseason, making his second start in the division series tonight.
That's where you want Ellsbury swinging at it if you're a pitcher. What Ellsbury would like is a fastball up, out over the plate. Not in, but out over the plate where he can do a little bit more damage. The ball down, the ball coming in towards him, breaking. He swings over the top.
That missed upstairs. And it's 2 balls and a strike to Jacoby Ellsbury, who had been hitting .241 through August before a very good month of September. And there's the zone that John's talking about. Crowding him looks like the best way to retire him. And that's exactly where Carrasco goes for the strike. It's 2-2.
Baseball today has more information than ever, and there's a lot of good information. And so it's up to executing. You're going to see guys left and right. Certain pitchers are going to change their routine and how they get you out, and then other hitters have to make a pitcher change that because they're going to their weak spots all the time.
Went back in there, didn't get a swing, and it's a 3-2 count now to Jacoby Ellsbury. Aaron Hicks waiting on deck. He's had a good start to the series, 3 for 9 with a home run. Ellsbury is such a weapon, and when he can get on base is when he becomes dangerous. 11 career postseason stolen bases. That's the most among all active players. Getting on base has been the issue in this series, however. The 3-2. He lost him on ball 4. First time in the game, a leadoff hitter has reached base.
When you pitch on the road, you got to pitch against the crowd and obviously against the opposing team. And the one thing you want to do or try never to do is create attention for the crowd, and that is the leadoff batter or a walk. Always try to get that first hitter out. You're always a hitter away from a double play if the next guy gets on. So it's always a rally in the postseason. The regular season, that's not a big deal. Everybody notices the little things when the postseason comes through.
We'll see if Ellsbury looks for an opportunity to run. Aaron Hicks, the batter. Hicks, as we mentioned, is off to a very good start in the series. In fact, the 3 hits puts him in pretty good recent franchise company. He's the 4th Yankee since 1996 to have hits in his first 3 postseason games. Joins Derek Jeter, Scott Brocious, and Robinson Cano in that regard. Little rollover bouncing ball here. Ramirez to the Lindor to Santana, the double play.
That's a great double play for a guy that can run from the left side. And a huge double play. Hard to come by in the postseason, but when they do, what a feeling that is for Carrasco. Great pivot, good feed, and then of course Lindor with a great arm, just in time.
So two gone, bases empty now for the top of the order, Brett Gardner, who looks at strike one. Gardner popped the shortstop to start the home first.
He's the guy for me that can get it going for the Yankees, because not only do you have thunder behind him, but he can do so many things on the bases. So getting on base, of course, here 2 outs, a lot different than leading off an inning and using his legs. The Yankees lineup very top heavy. They get so much production out of the top 5. Maybe not so much in the bottom 3, but Gardner, Joe Girardi says when he's hitting home runs, that's when he's locked in. I would have thought it was the opposite, when he's flaring balls, going in the gap to gap.
Hit a career high 21 during the regular season.
String together long at bats. He can foul off the pitcher's pitches and just make it more like a pest.
Two balls and a strike to Gardner.
Well, he wants it down and in. That's his go power. That ball was down and in, but way down, and he swung over the top of it. He won his bet, right?
He won his bet with Matt Holliday, the two who are notoriously clean-shaven up top. Had a home run bet. The loser has to grow out his hair. A high fly ball to center field for Jason Kipnis. And another 1-2-3 inning. They go away in order despite the leadoff walk. We've played 3 complete, scoreless in game 3. Top of the order in the Cleveland half of the 4th, Lindor, Kipnis, and Ramirez against Masahiro Tanaka, who has allowed just a single and struck out 4 his first time through the lineup tonight. Scoreless as we start the 4th inning in the Bronx.
Been real good. He's taken no stress so far into any of these innings. Kept his crowd, his team in it. Just don't want to buckle first.
As Lindor rolls it out to first base for Greg Bird, and a quick first out here in the 4th. We mentioned this earlier. The Red Sox kept their season alive with a Game 3 victory at Fenway Park this afternoon. David Price was among the stars. And if you date back to the end of the regular season, the special weapon, David Price, that is the super reliever, has gone 15 1/3 scoreless and made a big difference today.
Yeah, you saw they were down early.
This all gets us into a big day of baseball tomorrow, starting on FS1. Astros and Red Sox coverage begins at noon Eastern, and TBS has the Nationals and Cubs Game 3 if necessary. Game 4 of this series, 6:30 back here on FS1. Luis Severino and Josh Tomlin tentatively scheduled to go tomorrow. Game 3 of the Dodgers-Diamondback series in the desert's going to be a good one tomorrow night. The late one, Yu Darvish and Zach Greinke. A strike to Jason Kipnis, a ball and a strike. Kipnis popped out at his first try tonight. Well hit to right. Judge back, and he can't make the play. Kipnis is on his way around second, and he'll get to third without a play. Well, that ball took a really unfortunate carom away from Aaron Judge as he tried to make the catch.
Yeah, the first mislocation, and really Judge misjudged a bullet. That ball had such topspin on it. Of course, he's getting over there at a good speed, and then once it hits the side of his glove, Kipnis, an easy triple.
So an opportunity now for Jose Ramirez, who's just 1 for 10 to start the series. The Yankees play the infield in with 1 out in the 4th. It's the first triple for Jason Kipnis in over a year.
Done a nice job against Ramirez all series so far.
A 280 hitter with runners in scoring position. A ball and a strike now to Jose Ramirez.
He's not a jumpy hitter. We talked about it earlier, how he does everything with good balance from both sides of the plate. So you want a jumpy hitter. You want an aggressive hitter, especially Tanaka, with the way that he can pitch out of the strike zone. As he is really trying to get a strikeout or induce a soft contact ground ball to the drawn-in infield.
A ball and 2 strikes, the count to Ramirez. A 1-2 pitch on its way. Jammed him with a fastball. Well, you just get the sense that Jose Ramirez saw something other than a splitter, and he was in swing mode. That ball was up around his eyes.
Yeah, one of the rare times Tanaka will go up. He misses his guard, does Ramirez. The foul ball just above that shin guard. That's never fun. That's like the side of your calf.
That's a guy that Terry Francona simply cannot be without.
I don't know how they can tell if he's okay. Did you see him say anything?
No.
He doesn't say much.
He just made that look. That kind of, yo, what's up? That's kind of his look. Ramirez will go back to trying to get that runner from third home with less than 2 out. There are stats on such a thing. That is to say, a hitter's success rate with a runner at third and less than 2 away. And that runner scored in 11 of 24 chances with Ramirez at the plate. Two balls and 2 strikes. He's struck! And that's a big one. Sanchez finishes with the throw to the bag.
Tanaka stayed stubborn and stayed down. And again, a rare swing and miss by Ramirez, who expanded the zone a couple times. A huge strikeout early. This actually is a pretty good matchup for Bruce. He is a His strength is down in the zone, but that's also the strength for Tanaka. So what do you do if you're a pitcher? You got to lower that zone even more and entice Bruce to lower his.
Bruce struck out in the second. You can see another nice block by Gary Sanchez, and it should be noted that he had a couple of them in that strikeout sequence to Ramirez. Sanchez has had more pass balls and wild pitches charged to him with Tanaka on the mound than any other Yankee pitcher this year. One of a number of Yankee pitchers that are hard to handle. We talked about it in regards to Sonny Gray, Jaime Garcia.
Bruce late, it's 1-1. That's how you do it. Bruce likes the ball down there. He's got power that way. You just got to go lower. You don't deviate from your strength as a pitcher. You just deviate from the area where his strength as a hitter is.
Oh, that is a very unpopular sign at this ballpark today. Defiant Mets fan. Exactly the kind of moments they bought. Yankee lineup hoping to carry some of that momentum into their swings in the bottom of the fourth. Masahiro Tanaka with a big moment. Runner at third with one away, shuts the door with strikeouts against two very good hitters, Ramirez and Bruce, and it keeps it scoreless as we hit the bottom of the fourth. Judge, Sanchez, and Gregorius here in inning number 4.
Inside. When a team scores a run, the next inning's the most important inning for a pitcher to shut him down when your team rewards you with a run. The Indians didn't score a run, but the crowd and the moment was big. So you have to come back out and dim that moment. In other words, throw up a 0, get the crowd back out of it. That was a huge spot for Tanaka and of course the crowd. And so now facing 2-3-4, Carrasco's got to shut him down and make them feel like they still don't have a chance.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Aaron Judge, who is happy to be back home at the very least. He, like a number of his teammates, with a better line in his home road splits here at Yankee Stadium. But last 15 in particular, so good here. And more importantly, the team went 13-2 over that period. Throughout the series, nobody in baseball has seen more full counts than Aaron Judge. Gary Sanchez waits on deck.
That's a tough one for Judge because of his height. He thinks that ball's down. He might have an argument, but a great 3-2 pitch by Carrasco. See where the ball ends up. He probably feels like that's a ball 4, and CC and the rest of the guys feel like, look, he's 6'7". he'll go take a look at it just to verify in his own mind, but a good take nonetheless. It just didn't result in a walk.
So now Gary Sanchez, who was also a strikeout victim.
That's what the playoffs is all about. The teeter-totter of emotions, the crowd waiting to explode, the team that's down and their backs against the wall trying to jump on the other team first, creating something, getting their mojo going. That's what I miss most. You don't get that in a regular season game. You just kind of go through, not that you go through the motions, but that every at bat and every pitch doesn't have the intensity that it has right now. And certainly the Yankees wanting to give their home crowd, this crowd waiting to erupt.
2 balls and a strike to Sanchez. Well, Carrasco has struck out 5 tonight through 3 1/3. Tanaka has struck out 6 through his 4 innings. Each starter on a pace for a double-digit strikeout night, and it doesn't happen very often in postseason history where each starter can claim that in the same game. Sanchez with a shot to shortstop. In the hole is Lindor with the throw there, plenty of time. So with 2 gone now, here's Didi Gregorius. You know, back to that strikeout story, prior to 2015, it had only happened once in postseason history when both starters struck out 10 or more in a game. And that was in the 1944 World Series. Mort Cooper of the St. Louis Cardinals and Denny Galehouse of the Browns. Remember that one?
This strike zone was big. I remember that like it was yesterday. The strike zone on the left side especially.
But that's a surprising thing because we're conditioned to all these legendary postseason pitching performances, Gibson versus Lolich, etc., etc. But for each guy to punch out double digits just doesn't happen. And in today's game, when starters aren't around long enough.
Exactly. It would happen a lot more in today's game, but we're not training guys, and everybody's scared to death to leave a starter in. So the bullpens have a lot of ammunition, and all the managers want to use it as fast as they can. So it seems.
CC Sabathia so good in game 2. The comeback happened on the bullpen's watch. 2 balls and a strike to Didi Gregorius.
The gauges that the pitcher looks at and the hitter looks at is one of these. The pitcher's looking how aggressive are the hitters. That affects my pitch selection. If they're going to be aggressive, I don't have to throw strikes. For a hitter, how good's his stuff? Can I lay off of the balls?
And Gregorius has a base hit, the first of the night for New York.
And when you get to this time of the year, right, everyone wants to do their part. Everyone wants to answer questions that they're 3 for 6 in the series instead of why are you 1 for 9. But the reality is there's times you can go up there with the bat and never swing and you're going to get your walk. But it doesn't happen a lot. Guys want to swing. And so the aggressive, really good stuff pitchers are going to make a living off of those kind of guys.
Here's Starlin Castro now. His 4 hits through the first 2 games of the series lead the Yankees. Gregorius aboard with 2 away. Starlin Castro hit 16 home runs during the regular season, and 11 of those came with runners aboard.
He'd much rather hit a fastball than a breaking ball because he's geared with that open stance. He's looking to drive the ball gap to gap. Good right field hitter as well.
hard to imagine. Starlin Castro is still just 27 years old. Just finished up his 8th full season in the big leagues. He arrived as a boy. In fact, among players aged 27 or younger, nobody has amassed more base hits than Starlin Castro. It is very good company to keep some of the game's finest names.
It's going to be hard to keep Altuve away from passing him at the rate he's going.
Perez wants it on the corner, and it's spoiled away, a ball and 2 strikes.
So the last 2 has been underneath, and Perez is going to go talk to Carrasco. The last 2 pitches of Carrasco, he got underneath it, pulled the sinker, and then hung the slider. So just a little bit of reinforcement where they want to go with the pitch and what they want to do. See how that ball rolled and went the other way? He got lucky. You don't want to have to get lucky more than once to a good hitter like Castro.
Left-handed hitting power threat Greg Bird waiting on deck with 2 gone. A ball and 2 strikes to Starlin Castro. Six strikeouts for Tanaka, and now 6 strikeouts for Carlos Carrasco. A pitching-dominated start to Game 3. Home runs mean more this postseason as T-Mobile is guaranteeing at least $1 million for hurricane recovery efforts with every home run hit worth $10,000. Help break $1 million by tweeting hashtag HR4HR, and T-Mobile will donate an additional $1 per tweet. No score, top of the 5th, as Carlos Santana leads things off for the Indians. Santana, Jackson, and Brantley against Masahiro Tanaka, who has struck out 6 in his first 4 innings tonight.
Struck out 6, hasn't had to use the fastball too often, and he's getting the Indians hitters, which they are the toughest in the American League to strike out, look very vulnerable.
The last postseason game at Yankee Stadium that went scoreless through 4 innings was Game 2 of the 2012 ALCS. Yes, it was on Joe Girardi's watch when he had Hiroki Kuroda and the Detroit Tigers had Anibal Sanchez. Tigers ended up winning the game 3-0. 2 balls and a strike to count to Santana. Santana, then Austin Jackson and Michael Brantley in the 5th. Coming off the day off yesterday, bullpens are fresh, though there are perhaps a few more emotional scars in the Yankee bullpen after the big lead got away in Cleveland 2 nights ago. And a full count to Santana, 3-2. And I'd be very surprised to see another 2-strike fastball to Santana. That's how Tanaka lost him on the base hit in the 2nd. He lost him on ball 4. First walk by Tanaka tonight.
I don't blame Tanaka at all right there, but that was a great take, and it was a good at bat the first time. So Santana's been able to lay off of it when he wants to, because this would have been swung at by a lot of guys in the big leagues. A 3-2 aggressive pitch. He gets the walk, pass the baton on. The teams that do that put stress on the pitchers, especially this time of the year, have a better chance to crack the scoreboard.
Here's Austin Jackson now. He grounded into the double play that ended the 2nd inning.
I used to say if I had one wish when I was pitching, the only wish I would want to have, one gift, was, is the batter prepared to swing on that given pitch? If I knew he was going to swing, I 100% would know what to throw, right? But if he's taken and you throw a great pitch and he takes it, it messes with your mind. So that cat and mouse game of when do you have an aggressive hitter up there or a patient hitter affects how you attack him and then giving it back.
It's too bad you didn't have an Apple Watch back then.
I just wanted a mind read. Just a mind read. Like, hey, he's swinging. Here comes the slide. But I know where you're going with that.
Well, of the strikeouts for Tanaka tonight, 6 of them, all of them have come swinging. Six strikeouts, 1 walk. I think that's a ratio most would be satisfied with. Jackson yanks one foul. And in fact, that ratio for Tanaka is closer to, if not right at, 7-1. And when he's at home, it's among the best in the American League. It's among the best in baseball. Santana, the runner at first with nobody out, a ball and 2 strikes to Austin Jackson.
It's interesting. It doesn't matter right or left-handed as far as Tanaka is concerned. He's got a unique split finger, so the batting averages against are about the same. The home runs are about the same. His ability to spin the ball takes pressure off of not having to throw as many fastballs. When you throw a 2-seam fastball or a 4-seam fastball, it's coming off your fingertips. You want backspin. 2-seam, you want movement. When you're throwing a split, it's on the inside part of your fingers. So the last thing that's going to come through is kind of a tumbling effect. You throw it like a fastball, it comes out like a fastball, but then disappears at the end, primarily going away from a left-hander.
Jackson hanging around on another one that'll get into the seats.
So the reason we don't see a lot of them in the big leagues, we don't have a lot of pitchers who throw split fingers. It's going to come out of the exact same slot. You don't want to lower your hand or release at all, because then that's going to flatten it. And he has a kind of cups the baseball, does Tanaka, when he throws it. So when he's on, everything's heavier with his fastball. But you'll see in the back of his, when he gets ready to throw, his hand is going to cup the baseball. A little bit different when it comes out of his glove.
Still a ball and 2 strikes. If nothing else, Austin Jackson working the pitch count, which so far for Tanaka has been more than reasonable. He's worked only 1 over the minimum at this point tonight. He had to reach into the well to strand the 1-out runner at third back in the 4th. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2 to Jackson with Michael Brantley waiting on deck. In a game like this, a 1-out walk, a leadoff walk, as was the case, that constitutes a rally.
It's amazing. People ask me all the time, what's the difference? That right there. A runner on, an error, anything. It's a rally. Fans are standing.
Jackson sends a drive out to right center. Judge has it. That's the first fly ball, at least first fly ball chance, despite the one that the Judge misplayed on a tough opportunity. It was scored a triple.
And that was the first at bat where Tanaka threw more pitches away from his target. Jackson battled him and had a couple hittable pitches. See if that carries over, bleeds over into Brantley. See that ball right there, catching too much of the middle. Jackson frustrated.
Michael Brantley looking for his first hit of the postseason, 0 for 6. Again, the longest tenured Indians position player, who was not available to play in the World Series run last year, coming back from injury. So Michael's only previous postseason experience came in the 2013 wildcard game. Bouncing ball to second. And the team that turned the fewest double plays in the American League this year has turned a couple of big ones tonight. No score, middle of the 5th. We go to the bottom of the inning for Greg Bird, Todd Frazier, and Jacoby Ellsbury. Carlos Carrasco and Masahiro Tanaka matching one another pitch for pitch tonight. Two hits for Cleveland, one hit for the Yankees. It was Gregorius who had the 2-out single last inning, and it's a ball and a strike to Greg Bird.
Yeah, judging this bout, I've got 2 rounds to 2 rounds coming into here to the 5th inning. In this battle, this fight, that's what it would be like. Each guy having moments. Tanaka's done everything he could do. Absolutely everything. That's what you want. You're in an elimination game. You're at home. Put up those zeros. Now it's up. Just put it on Carrasco. See if he can match.
Outside.
And it's 3 balls and a strike to Greg Bird, who was hit by a pitch in the second. A single, a hit batsman, and a walk, and that's it against Carrasco through 4. Full count now.
What a great pitch. 3-1. Gets it back to a 3-2 count. Now he can throw him whatever he wants.
Got him. 7 tonight for Carlos Carrasco.
And I'm telling you what, that looked like a filthy changeup at 90 miles an hour. That's unreal, where it's in the zone and gone. And Bird really, you just tip your hat.
So 1 away in the 5th, and that'll bring in Todd Frazier, who struck out back in the 2nd. And Frazier, you'll recall, has had more success against Carlos Carrasco than any other Yankee. 9 for 23 in previous meetings. 6 of the 9 hits came on fastballs.
Todd has got that front shoulder looking to just hook a mistake over the middle of the plate. But when they pitch him out there, there's nothing he's going to be able to do than maybe just flare it up the middle. Like he tried to stay up the middle, got some hits in game 2, but he is selling out for a middle in pitch that he can drive.
Right on the corner once again to put Frazier behind 1-2. You know, Carrasco's thrown only 5 first pitch strikes to the 16 batters he's faced, and he still struck out 7 tonight. Jacoby Ellsbury waiting next. A high pop for Santana, hoping for room. He's got plenty of it for round number 2. And for Carlos Carrasco, pitching in one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game of his career, Tom Vernucci, he is up to task tonight.
Well, think about this, Matt. He was signed at the age of 16 at an open tryout camp. The Phillies signed him after seeing him throw just 20 pitches. The next year, they sent him to Clearwater. He didn't speak any English. It was his first time away from home. For 90 consecutive nights, he ate dinner at the same pizza place. It's all he knew how to do was to order pizza. Well, he wound up getting an award from this pizza outlet as their best customer. And the reward, he got 1 month of free pizza.
More pizza. Why not? Here's Jacoby Ellsbury with 2 gone. Wow. Yeah, Carlos Carrasco, after his not long after his pizza eating days, traded by the Phillies, of course, to the Indians. One of the 4 young players that was sent to Cleveland in the Cliff Lee deal. One that the industry thought at the time was a lopsided win for Philly. And here is Carlos Carrasco still pitching some years later and pitching the Indians in the postseason. A bouncer to second base for Jose Ramirez, who bobbled, recovered, and got his man. Another 1-2-3 inning to the 6th. Welcome back to the ALDS presented by Doosan on FS1 with Hall of Famer John Smoltz, Tom Verducci, and Ken Rosenthal. Matt Vasgersian in the midst of a scoreless tie in the Bronx, top of the 6th inning. And Roberto Perez leads things off for Cleveland. Perez, Urshela, and Lindor against Masahiro Tanaka, who has been outstanding tonight. Well, as proof to what we were talking about earlier, StatCast powered by AWS tells us about fastball usage for Masahiro Tanaka. And it's fewer than only R.A. Dickey in terms of percentage.
I mean, that shouldn't even count, right? I mean, R.A. Dickey's knuckleball.
Take him out of there, outlier. Well, Tanaka's thrown 15 fastballs tonight in the 71 pitches total. And if you're wondering, the split fingered fastball does not count as a pure fastball in that equation. One of the 6 strikeouts for Tanaka came to Perez back in the 2nd. And there's a base hit.
Well, he stayed firm with the sliders, and that one just caught enough of the plate. Sounded like it might have broke the bat. But Tanaka gets better with each out. So, in other words, as we watch this off the end of the bat here, with nobody out, which is what it is right now, 293. When he has 1 out, it goes down to 243. When he gets to 2 outs, it's 226. And it's been tough tonight with runners in scoring position.
Giovanni Urshela grounded out in the 3rd. He is one of the better bunters on Terry Francona's team. Swinging away here, lines to Judge in right. And there's 1 away. The 6th inning for Tanaka is an important one for the Yankees in that when he goes 6 or more, the team is 15-4 this year. And that includes winning their last 5 when Tanaka goes at least 6.
Well, he's given Joe no reason to even think about the bullpen yet, but this is when you start thinking about it in case runners get on and you need to get out of a jam. He's been starting a lot of left-handed hitters off with the curveball. He's starting off a lot of right-handers with the slider, and then he goes to work with the split.
Francisco Lindor is 0 for 2 so far tonight. Think about the start to Francisco Lindor's career. 2+ years in the big leagues. He's come within a breath or 2 of a World Series ring. He's a 2-time All-Star already in his 2 full seasons in the league. He's already done some big things in the postseason stage. He's a switch hitter. He wears number 12. I mean, the comparisons to the great Roberto Alomar just keep on coming.
Yeah, they sure do. I'm impressed at his ability to just drive the ball increasingly more this year. Of course, the home run total goes way up. Average was down for a little while, and then he picked that up, but the power numbers through the roof.
Lindor with a swing and a drive to right field. Judge back at the wall, reaches up and makes the catch. He took it back. Use the entire wingspan, and it's a big one. That's a home run with any other normal-sized human playing right. Aaron Judge is 6'7" tall. When he puts that big tree limb up and jumps, he plays like he's 10 foot. All rise indeed. And there are 2 away now for Jason Kipnis. So it is a defensive moment that re-engages the sold-out crowd. With a drive out to left center field. And this one a more routine chance for Aaron Hicks to retire the side. Joe Girardi says that Aaron Judge is the complete player. He can hit for average, power, he can run the bases, and yes, he can defend. Budweiser game summary is all about starting pitching. Masahiro Tanaka and Carlos Carrasco have combined to work scorelessly through the first 5.5, striking out a combined 13. It is the longest scoreless start to a postseason game this season, eclipsing Game 1 of the Cubs Nationals Division Series opener. Aaron Hicks leads things off in the Yankee half of the 6th. It'll be Hicks, Gardner, and Judge. Aaron Judge has really left his mark on this ballpark.
You mean that literally too, don't you?
I mean that quite literally. I mean, he's got his own seating section, and by the way, he had it in May. A lot of people thought that came pretty quickly. He has justified the decision, though. And he's also nicked up the furniture out there in right field. This was the catch that robbed the home run. Watch the bottom of the wall. Squashed it. Where do you find a contractor in the Bronx at this hour? These grounds crew guys do everything. Two balls and a strike to Aaron Hicks.
Such a good pitch he can go to when it's in a fastball count. The movement, the arm action, everything looks like it should hold its plane up, and it just dives out. That's his version of a split.
The end of the bat, that's going to be a tricky play with funny English on it. Urshela has to put it in his pocket. And the Yankees have their leadoff hitter aboard.
In games like this, when you're the Yankees, you need stuff like that. You got to build on whatever it takes because certain things didn't go your way. Obviously, in Game 2, a heartbreaking loss. You need some breaks to go your way, and that could be the start of it. You're looking for anything, and then you're hoping the next guy builds on it. I never bought into the old mindset, oh, we got nothing to lose, the pressure's on them, our back's against the wall. You got everything to lose. You're in an eliminating game. You got to play the game more flawless than the next team that you're playing. So
Brett Gardner with a ground ball to shortstop. Lindor gets one himself, and just like that, the threat cools. I mean, Gardner hit that one on the screws.
So hard to double up as Gardner. That's about the only way where he squares this one up. Man, the double play to a starting pitcher is so good, to any pitcher for that matter.
And the parallels on both sides of the scorecard continue. 2 double plays turned by the Yankees, and now 2 double plays turned by the Indians.
These fans would love to see Judge get a +2. Take one away and put one on the board.
2 strikeouts tonight on Judge's line. 0 for 9 in the series. The Yankees have put the leadoff hitter aboard twice tonight, and on each of those occasions, the next batter has grounded into a double play. And give that man all the credit. Carlos Carrasco making his first career postseason start, and he has answered the call. Three balls and a strike. Gary Sanchez on deck. He too is hitless tonight. And there's ball 4. So the inning stays alive for Sanchez, who has struck out and grounded to shortstop.
That's what you got to do, and for Judge to take those pitches, that's what he has to do for his team to be successful. There's Sanchez, it's on you to try to find one that's over the middle of the plate, find the gap, or over the wall. This place will be upside down.
20 home runs in his 52-game audition last year as a rookie. 33 more in his sophomore campaign. One to Sanchez, ripped back up the middle, of base hit. Sanchez keeps the line moving with 2 away.
This was the best approach I've seen out of Sanchez. If he gets a mistake middle in, that swing would have produced a double or a home, but it was a good pitch away, and he went right up the middle with a bullet. They tried to go in. Watch where the pitch is, away to lower middle, and he didn't try to do too much. Rocket.
Callaway comes out for a visit on the mound. And with Didi Gregorius, the scheduled hitter, the first activity by either bullpen all night is left-hander Andrew Miller. Gregorius cashed on the first Yankee hit tonight. It was a 2-out single in the fourth. During the regular season, Gregorius was one of the Yankees' most reliable hitters with runners in scoring position. Batted over 300 in situations like this. He's got Judge and Sanchez aboard trying to break the scoreless tie. Judge walked, Sanchez singled with 2 out. Tried to hold up and went around, and it's a ball and a strike.
This crowd's been awesome for their team down 2-0. Every chance they can, they've been on their feet, creating energy, almost like the old Yankee Stadium. For the first time, it's been as loud as I can remember.
Well, there were folks around here that said Tuesday night when the Yankees came back to win the wild card game, it felt for the first time like the old place. Two balls and a strike to Gregorius.
And that's what I used to remember in the old stadium. You just had to keep it to a dull roar because they were right on top of you, and they were loud, and it was such a home field advantage. Stadiums change, the environment's changed a little bit, and now the Yankees are back in a position where they hope this will be the norm.
The 2-1, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Well, statistically speaking, over the last 5 years, the home team has won only 53% of postseason games. But this is a whole different feel. An elimination game. Masterfully pitched by both starters. And you can really feel the home field advantage now. They're loaded with 2 away. So the Yankees' first inning with multiple base runners aboard gets even more intriguing as the sacks are full and Terry Francona is making the long walk to the mound. He has signaled for his super reliever, Carlos Carrasco, hoping his bullpen can pick him up here in the 6th and keep it tied. A pitching change. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the ALDS presented by Doosan on FS1. And we are in for a big moment. The bases are loaded with 2 out. And the Indians have gone to the bullpen. Carlos Carrasco was terrific in his postseason debut. 5 2/3 scoreless baseball to date. The runners aboard are his responsibility. And it's Andrew Miller's responsibility to try to keep this game tied at 0.
Nasty, nasty, nasty is all you can say about this guy. 071 are right-handers hitting off of his slider. That's his go-to pitch. Can Castro stay off of it?
Opponents with the bases loaded against Andrew Miller are just 1 for 15 with 10 strikeouts. Last year's ALCS MVP and All-Star again in 2017. And he's trying to strand the combination of Judge, Sanchez, and Gregorius.
Castro might have got a nice little gift on that first pitch. That looked like a real good backdoor slider. But called off the plate for ball 1.
Fly ball out to shallow left. Lindor out from shortstop to retire the side and end the bases loaded threat. We're heading to the 7th in Game 3. The Indians and Yankees still tied at 0. It's a full day of postseason baseball action tomorrow, starting on FS1. Astros at Red Sox. Coverage starts at noon Eastern. Then TBS has the Nats and Cubs. If necessary, Game 4 is this one at 6:30 Eastern on FS1. And if the Indians win this ball game, and nothing further is required in this series, then the Red Sox and Astros move to prime time tomorrow night on FS1. Jose Ramirez leads things off in the Cleveland 7th. Ramirez, Bruce, and Santana against Masahiro Tanaka, who will go into the 7th inning tonight.
Well, again, he started off a leadoff hitter with a curveball, comes right back with the split. This has been kind of the formula, but he has not made mistakes to let the Indians square anything up.
A ball and 2 strikes to Ramirez, who has had his troubles with Tanaka this evening to the tune of 2 strikeouts. David Robertson is out for the Yankee bullpen. This has been the longest start, the longest scoreless start by a Yankee in the postseason since Phil Hughes in the division series of 2010 against Minnesota went 7 shutout innings. The 2-2 to Ramirez. Jay Bruce waiting on deck, and it's Carlos Santana here in the 7th. Tanaka hoping to give Luis Severino an opportunity in Game 4 tomorrow. Josh Tomlin tentatively scheduled for the Indians. The long at bat has given Robertson plenty of time to get hot in the Yankee pen. He's ready to go. And he'll have still more time.
Boy, you know Severino wants to get another crack at it. He would love to pitch the game here again. Of course, first playoff game for him that he started didn't go very well, only a third of an inning in the wild card game. When you're sitting hoping your teammate puts you in a position you can redeem yourself, there's nothing you can do but hope and do your best when you get that opportunity if they give it to you.
Here's the next 2-2. Hey, a reminder, home runs mean more this postseason as T-Mobile is guaranteeing at least $1 million for hurricane recovery efforts with every home run hit, worth $10,000. Help break 1 million by tweeting hashtag HR4HR, and T-Mobile will donate an additional $1 per tweet.
Yeah, when I first saw that, I thought that was Harold Reynolds, the hashtag Harold Reynolds. But you're talking about home runs, right?
HR4HR.
Yeah, okay.
No, home runs in this case.
Our good buddy Harold Reynolds tuning in, no doubt.
It's the 9th pitch of the at-bat to Ramirez. Altogether, even though Jose Ramirez has not been on base and he struck out twice, he has seen a total of 21 pitches from Tanaka, doing his share to at least raise the pitch count.
Yeah, and the more a hitter sees, obviously, the better it is. Now, Tanaka has yet to go back to that split. He's tried a couple sliders and breaking balls. Let's see if he goes back to a split down and away.
The next 2-2. Ramirez sends it to the shifted infield. Gregorius, the lone man on the left side, and there's one away. Well, a scoreless tie in the 7th, and Jay Bruce is in yet another position to break the Yankees' hearts. The Jay Bruce effect. They tried to get him at the deadline, and instead of going from the Mets to the Yankees, he went to Cleveland. So in Game 1, when he faces him head-to-head, He scores the game-winning run and hit a 2-run homer. And then, of course, in Game 2, the game-tying home run in the 8th. And if the Yankees really want to get back into the Jay Bruce business after having come very close at the deadline, he is a free agent at season's end.
Tanaka's done a nice job baiting him. As I said, he likes the ball down. He likes the ball out over the plate, but he just keeps going almost in the dirt with the pitches. And Bruce, to this point, cannot lay off of it.
And he gets that corner. You talked about that earlier, that if he stays out there, that corner will get a little more liberal as the night wears on, and it has.
This is just carving up a real good hitter who has been seeing the ball this series. There's the breaking ball that he starts most left-handers with. A backdoor that he got an inch off the plate, and then a split. One of the better ones. And the man who could benefit sitting right there, hoping.
He has been super efficient tonight. As with 2 out now, he goes to work on Carlos Santana. Santana's the only Indian that he has not retired. Swinging a high drive on the first pitch, playable for Judge. Another 1-2-3 inning. And we've hit the 7th inning stretch in the Bronx tonight. No score. It has been a pitching and defense kind of night in Game 3 of the American League Division Series in New York. Welcome back. A scoreless tie, 3 hits aside, and a game that so far has been distinguished by that pitching and this defensive play. The Grip of the Moment, sponsored by Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball. That would have been a 2-run home run with a regular fella out there in right. Aaron Judge is no regular fellow.
Well, the crowd sure hasn't lost energy. 0-0.
Well, the Yankees in losing games 1 and 2 in Cleveland dropped consecutive games for the first time since August, when they were swept by these Indians here in the Bronx. The Yankees have never been swept in a division series. And Brett Bird will try to do his part to keep that true. Bird, Frazier, and Ellsbury against Andrew Miller, who cooled off the bases loaded situation in the 6th by getting Starlin Castro to fly to left.
Now, as strange as it may seem, at 6'7" himself, or 9, Miller, you would think left-handers would have an impossible task against him. It's really the right-handers that have a harder time picking up that slider with the arc and throwing across his body. There's been some good at-bats already in this series off of Andrew Miller. left-hander on the mound. Greg Bird said, "I got this."
Andrew Miller allowed a grand total of 1 home run all year to a left-handed batter. Here in the postseason, Greg Bird gets him. Bird's second in the series. And now here comes Mickey Callaway. Let's take another look at the swing of the bat that finally got a run on the board here.
Yeah, he went fastball, and Bird stays with it. He knows that as soon as he lifts it, that ball was crushed. And like I said, just everybody here waiting for a moment. They've got it.
Goes nuts. The bullpen and the sold-out crowd. You talk about a guy who has endured some ups and downs in the big leagues the last 2 years. Next pitch to Frazier, misses the corner. We talked about Greg Bird a lot the first 2 games of the series. Spent 2016 recovering from shoulder surgery. This year was almost a complete wash. Missed over 100 games with ankle surgery. Bird was supposed to be the guy in this young class of quote-unquote baby bombers, one that included Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez and Tyler Austin. Bird was supposed to be the guy who was a little older, a little more experienced, that was to assert himself as the quicker hit. Didn't happen that way, and there were a lot of people wondering if Greg Bird was ever going to be a difference maker given the injury troubles of the past 2 years. I think he's answered those questions.
Yeah, he had a monster spring training, and he was on his way. And to your point, the injuries definitely got the best of his season, but the best of his season seems to be coming at the right time when the Yankees need it.
It's not the same kind of situation, but it's almost like a Kyle Schwarber story of last year. Nothing expected of the player. You get to the postseason, he's healthy. What you get is a bonus, and you end up getting a big bonus. Frazier sends a fly ball to shallow left. Jackson was back and had to hurry to get there. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt in our Los Angeles studios. KB. Yeah, and Kevin, if ever a team would have a complaint about a short wall, it would be the Astros in Boston today.
Well, that's going to be it for Miller. That Terry's going to be able to use him the next couple of games if need be.
One dramatic swing of the bat. Here in the 7th. Enough to give the Yankees a 1-0 lead. Greg Bird's dramatic solo home run. The game's lone score. And it has forced the Indians to the bullpen for the second time tonight for the left-hander Tyler Olson. A good work on Jacoby Ellsbury with a run in and 1 away here in the 7th. Check that, it's a pinch hitter. It is Chase Headley off the bench. Headley, the switch hitter, in from the right side. The counter move made by the Yankees. And it's a ball and a strike to Headley.
Olsen's sneaky in every one of his pitches, but he's not sneaky in that ERA. You saw that right. Zeros.
There was a chance Chase Headley was going to hit this inning even if Andrew Miller had remained in the game, because he's the only Yankee that really has numbers against Miller. And Joe Girardi told us that he likes the idea of Headley off the bench for that matchup. Well, as it turns out, it's a different left-hander that Headley bats against off the bench. Oh. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ironically, Chase Headley was playing first base in the absence of Greg Bird. And a swing and a miss. If that 1 run holds, it will be the ultimate redemption story for Greg Bird, Ken Rosenthal.
Matt, if you remember, there was a lot of uncertainty about his ankle. And when he had surgery July 18th, the Yankees indicated that his season likely was over. The recovery time was 6 weeks, but they just didn't think he'd be able to get back in baseball shape in time. He issued a statement the next day saying, "No, my season is not over. I intend to be back." He made it back, and in a big way.
Two gone for Aaron Hicks. Well, now you're thinking a little differently if you're Joe Girardi. And David Robertson, who had been up earlier, is joined by Aroldis Chapman now.
And this is what's so difficult for Joe. He wants the lead. He's got the lead. But what do you do with it? Because in order to make this dramatic comeback and win 3 straight games against the Indians, besides the obvious, you got to have the lead. It's how do you protect it? And how much do you use your best guys to protect it? Because you're going to need those guys if you're going to win 3 games, for the most part, to pitch in all 3 of them. There's one of the weapons. But Joe has a lot of them.
A ball and 2 strikes, the count to Aaron Hicks. Got him swinging. The damage done, however. The first run of the ball game on the Greg Bird solo shot that puts the Yankees in front 1-0. Jackson, the first to face the new pitcher for the Yankees, right-hander David Robertson, making his 2nd appearance of the series.
And obviously a little juiced up there. Fastball gets away from him. For everybody who's out there that likes to do this second-guessing stuff, this is the right call for Joe Girardi. Tanaka gave you everything he could, an unbelievable 7 innings, a 1-0 lead, and now it's up to the Yankee bullpen to get it done.
Robertson was brilliant here on Tuesday in the wild card game against the Twins, a career high 3 1/3 scoreless. And then in game 2 of this series on Saturday night, or Friday night rather, in Cleveland, yielded the game tying home run to Jay Bruce in the 8th. Jackson with a fly ball to right. And there's 1 away in the 8th. Well, Greg Bird's home run today means T-Mobile will be donating an additional $10,000 for hurricane relief efforts. With 37 home runs hit so far in the postseason, that total amount has grown to $370,000. Help break $1 million by tweeting #HR4HR, and T-Mobile will donate an additional $1 per tweet. Here's Michael Brantley now, hitless so far in the series, 0 for 7. We went on the air tonight talking about how the Yankees have hit more home runs in their home ballpark than any other team in the American League. And it's Greg Bird with one swing of the bat, one solo shot that's been the difference tonight. A ball and a strike to Brantley. If there were to be an injury redemption story on the Indians, it's that of Michael Brantley. Edwin Encarnacion currently nursing the injury, and that's why Brantley's starting at DH tonight. But he too has endured a couple of lost seasons, one in particular last year that prevented him from playing in the Indians World Series run. 2-1 to him now.
You know, and the timing of a hitter and not getting the reps you want. It's one thing to track baseballs and see him in a cage and simulate, but it's another thing to get in the moment. Now he's having to play a huge role because of the injury to Encarnacion, and he's trying in the moment to have one good swing, one good feel, one connection with the bat.
I think lost in the jubilation of the Game 2 comeback for the Indians. Not lost internally, because the Indians are aware of Edwin Encarnacion's absence, but some might have forgotten about the fact that they won without him, and they might have to win without him for a while. We talked about how productive the DH spot has been for Terry Francona. Only the Seattle Mariners got more productivity out of that position in the American League. 3-1. Full count, 3-2 to Michael Brantley. The payoff pitch. He lost him on ball 4. Official caps, t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, and more. Celebrate your favorite team with the latest postseason gear at MLB.com shop. The Indians show a pinch hitter, Lonnie Chisenhall, and Joe Girardi wants to counter the left-handed bat by going to his closer here in the 8th. It'll become a 5-out save opportunity, best case scenario for the Yankees, as Chapman is called on early. We'll be right back. Some big moves here with a runner aboard, 1 gun in a 1-run game, top of the 8th inning. First things first, Aroldis Chapman will try for the 5-out save opportunity, and he'll work on the mound.
Well, it's going to be almost 50%, about 40% of the pitches he throws this year reach triple digits. And you can steal on him. I don't know if that's going to be the MO for Terry Francona, a pinch runner with some speed.
Yeah, Michael Brantley drew the 1-out walk, and he is pinch run for by the rookie Greg Allen. Lonnie Chisenhall was announced to pinch hit, and then when the move to Chapman was made, it's Yan Gomes to bat in his spot. So that means that the Indians bench is down to just one player. That's Eric Gonzalez. Gomes had the game winner in Game 2. Greg Allen began the season in Double-A and is here in part to defend at center as an insurance policy in late leads, with Jason Kipnis still learning the position out there to a degree. Allen representing the tying run here with 1 gun in the top of the 8th. Yan Gomes last year in the World Series faced Aroldis Chapman 4 times. And I mean, you talk about tough duty. Gomes hadn't played at all late in the season. Didn't play at all in the postseason. Was on the active World Series roster and used as a pinch hitter against this guy 4 times. He went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Couple of 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. Aroldis Chapman in his career has had 6 previous 5+ out save opportunities. He's converted 4 of the 6, the other 2 blown. Gosh, I remember talking at the time in the World Series about the difficulty Yan Gomes was faced. Guy didn't have any live pitching at the big league level in a game situation for 2 months, and they threw him in there against Chapman 4 times. And it's the same result. At 103.
Above the zone, looks like the hitter can get to it, and he realizes as soon as he starts, oh no. Some way you got to be short, quick, and hope he hits it in an area, throws it in an area where you can get the barrel to it quick. Down, you got a chance. Up, no chance.
Giovanni Urshela 1 for 6 in the series. As home plate umpire, the crew chief Dana DeMuth took that one off the mask. Chapman, recalling last year's World Series as a Cub, was used in Game 5 for a 5-out save opportunity. In fact, there was more than 5 outs. He went 2 2/3, and a lot of folks thought that led to some of his ineffectiveness in Game 7.
No doubt. I don't have to think it. I know it.
Ball and a strike to Urshela.
This is early in the process. I mean, early like in first series. If this were in the second series or third series, talking about the World Series, it's harder to do what Chapman was asked to do. It gets increasingly more difficult. You run out of adrenaline.
Breaking ball in for a strike. Yeah, he's got that too. Chapman holds to the bottom of the 8th. Still 1-0 New York. It's the top of the Yankee order, looking for some insurance in a 1-0 lead. Gardner, Judge, and Sanchez. Aroldis Chapman was his nasty, fire-breathing self in the top of the previous inning. All but one of the pitches he threw was 100 miles an hour or higher. 0-1 the count to Gardner. breaking ball from Tyler Olson is in for a strike. Yan Gomes takes over behind the plate after pinch hitting in the last half inning. Gardner 0 for 11 in the series so far, as he sends a breaking ball out to shallow center. Kipnis got a bad lead and can't make the catch. Gardner to second.
Those are the hardest plays, especially for a guy who hasn't played a lot. The misread, you can hear the infielder yell in, but it's the big swing and then the soft contact. The break back and then the closing speed, not quite enough.
An important insurance run in scoring position with nobody out. They'll credit Gardner with a double, and it'll send the Indians back to the bullpen. A pitching change, and we'll be right back. Well, there's the man responsible for the run, and there's the man responsible for the dynamic play of the game. Sponsored by Hankook Tire. Greg Bird solo home run. His second of the series, the first and to date only run of the game.
Now with all the attention and detail, rightfully so, for Smith on Judge and Sanchez, you can't lose track of Gardner at second base. You definitely don't want to give him a huge lead and let him get to third with less than 2 outs, even though your attention's on these two big Yankee sluggers.
Joe Smith was reacquired by the Indians just shy of the deadline for situations just like this, and was brought in to fine-tune an already very good Cleveland bullpen. Smith faced Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez in game 2. Grounded out Judge, struck out Sanchez. We talked about it a lot for Aaron Judge. 0 for 9, 4 walks in the series. Fans are already standing, but if Judge gets a hold of one, he's liable to set this place into a new gear. Two balls and a strike. 3-1.
You got to go slider here. 3-1 count. Base open, can't definitely give in.
Straightens him up, full count now.
Again, that's the area. Such a borderline area for Judge because he's trying to train himself to stay off of this kind of pitch. You understand why at that size he wants it more elevated up.
The 3-2. He struck him out.
Kind of like a riser. Throws from that submarine position. Watch the ball as it breaks. Almost looks like it's going up.
So 1 out with a runner at second now for Gary Sanchez. It's an interesting combination up in the Cleveland bullpen. Brian Shaw and the guy scheduled to be tomorrow's starter, tentatively scheduled that is, and Josh Tomlin.
I think he's just getting a little work.
And 0-1 to Gary Sanchez.
Meaning he was available for today. The probably just getting a little feel and touch, getting ready for tomorrow. That would be my guess.
Left-handed batter, Didi Gregorius next. Sanchez is single tonight. When Sanchez struck out against Smith in Game 2, it was the third time he had struck out against the Cleveland right-hander in 4 plate appearances. 0 for 4, 3 punch-outs. When the Indians bat in the 9th, they'll have the top of the order. And that's exactly what Aroldis Chapman is visualizing here in the last of the 8th.
It's amazing.
Fouled away.
You have to learn as a closer. You come in with such adrenaline. You get the last outs, you're shaking hands. That's it. But in these cases, he's getting those big outs. He goes and sits down. It's harder to kind of have that when you go back out. So you have to train yourself and really kind of just relax and get ready for as if you were coming out of the bullpen again. It's not that easy. Once you go through it a couple times, you learn the difference between sitting down.
Got him swinging. 2 big strikeouts for Joe Smith.
Another one illusion that is going up from the angle that he releases it. Sanchez just can't get on top of that. Didi doesn't even have to walk in the batter's box. He goes through the outside circle right to first base.
The intentional walk. You can't even say the intentional walk executed because there's no execution to be done. They walk him. And now it's Starlin Castro, who's 0 for 3 tonight.
Starlin actually likes that ball coming back into him unless you really jam him.
Gardner doubled to start the inning. A ball that Kipnis got a late read on in center field. And strike 1 to Starlin Castro. Castro did not face Smith in Game 2. In fact, he's only faced him once in his career. A chopper to third. Urshela does it himself, and nothing comes of that leadoff double. It'll be the top of the Cleveland order in the top of the 9th, trailing by a run. Well, here we go, top of the 9th inning. Aroldis Chapman and the Yankees are 3 outs away from surviving to see a Game 4 in this series tomorrow. Cleveland has the top of the order, Lindor, Kipnis, and Ramirez. And strike 1 to Francisco Lindor. One of the Game 2 heroes. Lindor's only hit in the series. That dramatic grand slam in Cleveland on Friday night. These two saw plenty of each other in last year's World Series. During which Lindor went 0 for 3 with a strikeout against Aroldis Chapman. They faced off in Game 2. And Chapman struck out Lindor on Friday rather.
Changeup, and the two exchanged. Lindor gave him a little smile as if that was dirty, cool.
is just big time heat.
Here you go. See what you can do. I haven't seen too many guys at the top of the zone be able to do anything with Chapman. Now I have seen when you can get the ball down and get lucky and guide your bat in that area, use his power to your advantage. But up is so tough.
Jason Kipnis tripled in the fourth, and the Indians were unable to do anything with it as Ramirez and Bruce both struck out against Masahiro Tanaka, who was brilliant tonight. The last time the New York Yankees won a 1-0 postseason game, it was one that is still rather fresh in the minds of Yankee fans, I'm sure. Game 3 of the 01 ALDS versus Oakland, also known as the Jeter flip play game. Mike Mussina went 7 in that one. There's so many parallels. Mussina to Tanaka tonight. The Jeter flip play to the Judge home run saving catch tonight. The only run, a Jorge Posada solo shot. The only run tonight, a Greg Bird solo shot.
Besides the obvious, boy, did that give the bullpen an opportunity to rest up. Given if they win this game, they'll be fresh tomorrow with all their weapons available. Chapman will be available, of course.
Yeah, Joe Girardi's going to get the A group back tomorrow. Green, Cantley, Betances will be good by tomorrow. And Kipnis bounces it up the middle of the base hit. The time runs aboard.
What a great job there after swinging through some high fastballs. Slowed it down just a tad to be able to barrel up this one and go up the middle. Simple, up over the plate, the ones he was missing earlier. And a small hush in a crowd that's still waiting to go crazy and come back here tomorrow night.
Jose Ramirez faced Chapman in Game 2 on Friday and struck out. He faced him 4 times in the World Series last year and struck out in 3 of those.
Some big swings tonight out of Ramirez.
Yeah.
A little uncharacteristic, actually. That was a sellout swing for a fastball. There's no way he could have thought he was going to get a breaking ball in the first pitch.
Jay Bruce waits on deck. Chapman came on in the 8th, struck out Gomes, struck out Urshela. Here in the 9th, struck out Lindor. Kipnis at first, he singled. Fouls that off. 101 at the top of the strike zone.
Yeah, to the hitter, it sure looks good up there. I mean, again, I talked about how little time some of the greatest athletes in the world being able to hit a bat, or hit a ball with a round bat, and make such a quick decision to decide whether it's one you want to go after or not. 18 of the 21 pitches in the roll.
Chapman has thrown tonight have been 100 miles an hour or faster.
See, right here with 2 strikes, I mean, you really don't want to mess with a slider that you leave over the plate. You want to elevate the fastball higher and change the eye level, because right now he's been getting to a couple of them. He started him off with the breaking ball, but I think if he elevates the fastball a little bit higher than what he is, it'll have effect.
The next 0-2. On the ground, smothered by Frazier. No play, however, and everybody's safe. Frazier did a marvelous job just to put a glove on that ball.
Yeah, see, I didn't like the breaking ball there. There was too many pitches to where Ramirez was starting to get tracking a little bit, and a great play by Frazier. But look at what a good swing that Ramirez had, and it was really Frazier's dive that prevented it from being a real hit. And then he knew he had to be quick with the transfer.
Well, we documented earlier tonight the number that Jay Bruce has done on the Yankees in games 1 and 2. He has been neutralized tonight. Masahiro Tanaka struck him out in all 3 of his plate appearances.
In my recent memory, I don't remember Chapman bouncing a lot of sliders. So those sliders, when they fool the hitter, they're just selling out for a fastball.
First pitch to Bruce, a fastball that misses up and away. This is just the second time all night that the Indians have had a runner past first base. Back-to-back one-out singles against Aroldis Chapman. Carlos Carrasco also splendid tonight.
So because the way they got it shifted, Didi's behind the bag, so that's going to keep Kipnis pretty close. But Ramirez is going to have to get a real big secondary lead if the ball's on the ground, because he's going to have to get to second base. Bruce doesn't run great, but it's Kipnis they're worried about right now, keeping him as close as possible so that on a base hit it makes it more difficult for him to score.
Another fastball, but this is wide. It's a pick your poison, but I think at this point Jay Bruce would prefer 100 miles an hour as to what Masahiro Tanaka was doing to him all night.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only previous meeting between these two came in game 2 of the series, when Bruce reached on a fielder's choice. Chapman trying to make the Bird home run hold up. And it's 2-2 to Jay Bruce.
Definitely needs Chapman to bring it more over the plate. Away at 102.
From keeping their season alive.
Not as good as I've seen Chapman with his fastball. Straight backspin, four-seam explosion in the zone. one of the rare guys. It doesn't matter where he throws it sometimes. Location's not one of those things he has to be overly concerned with the fastball.
Carlos Santana represents the last chance for Cleveland tonight. He has singled and walked. He too had all he could handle against Aroldis Chapman in last year's World Series.
Outside.
All the strikes to Santana.
Well, if nothing else, the Indians don't tie it up. They sure did make Chapman work in this night. Piling up some pitches that will have carryover effect. I can assure you that. I'd like to do more than just make them work. They'd like to tie this game up.
All 4 of the outs that Chapman has recorded tonight have come via the strikeout. To this series is tomorrow's weather forecast of rain. And should the Yankees survive this and force a game 4, this series will be in a wait-and-see mode tomorrow. It's 2 balls and a strike.
Great pitch, but a little bit off. Santana said it didn't matter. I can't do anything with it out there.
Sanchez doing a nice job to make that look as close to a strike as possible. Austin Jackson on deck with 2 away. Here's the 2-1.
In the next 18 seconds, this crowd's going to let you know one way or another what just happened.
Just close your eyes.
Just close your eyes. Well, maybe a little longer. Sanchez wants to delay the surprise.
Well, with a full count now, and Kipnis was likely to be waved home to try to score on a base hit anyway, the job will be made a little bit easier, and maybe more importantly, the trailer will have a head start too. Kipnis represents the tying run. Ramirez the go-ahead run at first. Joe Girardi preaching a one-at-a-time message before the game, really with no other choice but to do that in an elimination situation tonight. Here's the next 3-2 home to Santana. Swing and a drop out to left center field. Gardner calling for it. Now it's Hicks saying he's there, and the Yankees survive to play a game 4. An absolute thriller in the Bronx. Robertson and Chapman in the 8th and 9th keep the Yankees season alive.
Don't pay attention to the noise. Don't read the statistics. Live to play another day and put the pressure as much as you can to force a game 5. Tanaka did it. Now it's Severino.
The final out tonight, and we can say this: the best pitch of all the postseason games so far this year. The 1-0 score, testament to that. And Joe Girardi's thoughts turn to Game 4, scheduled, weather permitting, for tomorrow night here in the Bronx. 1-0 Yankees. They're on the board in the series. For more Division Series coverage after the Yankee win tonight, let's send it to Kevin Burkhardt and the guys in Los Angeles.